They say the most terrifying sound in the world is the absolute silence of the forest at night. They're wrong. The most terrifying sound is hearing your own daughter's voice.
Help me! I'm scared! Please!
Begging for help outside your cabin. I saw what was in the darkness of Blackwood. I saw the gray legs, the stretched face. Let me tell you how it started. After Sarah recovered from the transplant, I needed peace. No, I needed silence. The kind of silence that doesn't exist in hospitals. I accepted a job as a forest ranger at Blackwood National Park without thinking twice. Sarah loved the forest. She said the trees knew our names. I used to say she had an artist's imagination when she was little. Now, at 18, she still looked at those trees as if she could hear secrets I wasn't capable of understanding. We moved to the park cabin 2 weeks after her discharge. Sarah had just turned 18 and deferred her college acceptance to recover properly. She spent hours photographing the trees, the wildlife, the morning mist. She was happy. For the first time in months, she was happy. But there's a thin line between peace and isolation, and I crossed that line without realizing it. My job was simple. Monitor local wildlife, keep the trails safe, prevent illegal hunters. Nothing very different from what I did as security at the port. I installed 12 state-of-the-art trail cameras, the ones with motion sensors, infrared night vision, and high-definition audio recording. Top technology. I felt professional, prepared. In the first week, I only saw deer, black bears, and a malnourished coyote. Everything normal, everything predictable. But in the second week, the cameras started triggering in the middle of the night for no apparent reason. I'd review the footage in the morning, and there was nothing. Just the empty forest, branches swaying, fog crawling between the trunks like ghostly fingers. There was no movement, just the sound of the wind, and a strange metallic clicking, like someone tapping on an empty can. Tick, tick, tick. Always the same rhythm. Always at 3:14 in the morning. I told myself it was electrical interference. Maybe an animal too small for the sensor to detect visually. Maybe I was paranoid. After all, hospitals teach you to listen for warning signs all the time. Wrong beeps, silences that last too long. You develop a chronic anxiety of waiting for the next bad thing. I was reviewing the audio from camera 07 at 3 in the morning on a Thursday. Sarah was sleeping. I had insomnia, another inheritance from the months in the hospital. I put on headphones and turned up the volume to isolate the sounds from the cabin. That's when I heard it. Softly, almost a whisper in the middle of the static.
Dad, open the door, it's cold out here.
Not a similar voice, not a crude imitation. It was the exact voice from when she was hospitalized. That weak, trembling tone she used when she woke up confused in the middle of the night and called for me because she was afraid of the shadows in the hospital corridor. I ripped off the headphones. My heart was beating so hard I could feel the pulse behind my eyes. I ran to her room. She was there, sleeping, breathing, alive. I locked all the doors and windows in the cabin, pulled the curtains. Didn't sleep anymore that night, or the next. Because every time I closed my eyes, I heard that voice whispering, "Dad, open the door." And the worst part? The audio was clean. No interference, no static. As if someone was speaking directly into the microphone. I needed to know what it was. I couldn't live anymore with the doubt gnawing at my sanity. I grabbed a high-powered tactical spotlight, put a hunting knife on my belt, more out of reflex than confidence, and went to the exact location where camera 07 was installed. The trail was covered in fog. The smell of wet earth was suffocating. It felt like I was breathing sludge. Each step sank into the damp moss and produced a sucking sound that made me think of viscera being torn out. When I reached the camera, the sensor was already blinking. Red, alert, movement detected. But there was nothing in front of me. I pointed the spotlight into the darkness between the pines. The beam of light cut through the fog like a blade. And then I saw. The trees seemed to move. But they weren't trees. They were legs. Gigantic. Gray. Then, for some idiotic reason, I raised the spotlight. Slowly. I wished I was blind. It wasn't a hairy monster. It wasn't a formless alien creature. It was human. Too human. And it was smiling. That fixed smile. Without emotion. Without life. The smile of someone who's no longer there.
For 3 seconds we stayed like that. Me illuminating that thing. It smiling at me. And then, the creature opened its mouth. The jaw descended beyond what was anatomically possible, like a snake dislocating its bones. And with the perfect, clear, and terrifying voice of my daughter, it screamed,
Help, Dad! Help! Help! I'm scared!
The sound echoed through the entire forest. Birds exploded into flight. Animals ran. And me? I dropped the spotlight and ran like I had never run in my life. I ran until my lungs burned, until my knees gave out, until my throat tore from trying to scream but not being able to produce sound.
I have to go, they're here.
Wait, what's happening? Who's here?
I grabbed Sarah, threw our things in a suitcase,
What is it?
and we left Blackwood before dawn. I left everything behind.
No time.
The job, the cameras, the promise of peace.
I told you to wait. Did you grab everything?
Yes.
We need to go, now.
Today we live in the city. 9th floor of an apartment building with thin walls and noisy neighbors. Sarah is in college now, studying environmental science. Ironic, considering what happened. But she's different. She doesn't photograph nature anymore. She keeps her curtains closed, too, even during the day. Sometimes I catch her staring at the door at night, her hand hovering over the lock as if checking it for the 3rd or 4th time. We never talk about Blackwood, but we both carry the same scar, the same fear that lives in the silence between words. She asks me why I close all the curtains before dark. I tell her it's because of the streetlights, that they bother my eyes. But the truth is, we both know. We're both afraid of looking outside and seeing something smiling at us between the buildings. Because now we know. Whatever is out there, it doesn't forget your name. It doesn't forget your voice. And when you least expect it, in a moment of silence, you'll hear someone you love asking for help. And you won't know if it's real. Every night, before going to sleep, I check twice that the door is locked. Sarah does the same from her room. I can hear her testing the handle. Once, twice, 3 times. We've become mirrors of each other's trauma. Because sometimes, very softly,
We both still hear it. Dad, open the door. It's cold out here. And we will never, never open it.